Hey, Diane, how you doing today?
Good. How's it going? Is it cold there?
Well, it's always cold around these parts, it seems. Well, it's great to
I'm
be...
in L.A., so I bet you'd appreciate it.
Yeah, it's definitely a different story down there, I'm sure.
Yep.
Well, Diane, it's great to be speaking with you, and I'm excited about your new film here, The Amityville Murders. Can you tell the listeners a bit about it?
Amityville Murders is an interesting story because it is actually based on the true story of the DeFeo murders. In 1974, the boy, Butch DeFeo, and the family, 23-year-old boy, murdered his entire family. And unfortunately, I would rather this not be having had happened to make a film about it, but this film tells the story of it in the most honoring and most respectful way, but also talks about the haunting of the house and how the house affected their situation. This is different than all the other Amityvilles that have occurred prior to this, because the other ones were more sensational or based on narrative, but this one is based on the truth, and it is. I think it's the best one personally.
Excellent. Yeah, most listeners are familiar with the other ones. 40 years ago from the first film, and of course you were in the sequel, The Possession. What's it like for you going back to the series after all these years?
Well, this is what makes the film also incredibly special, and people are going to come to see this, and they're going to get different things from it. Anyone who's seen me in the Amityville II, The Possession, is going to really be excited because they're going to see me play the daughter in this story, which at the first beginning of the Amityville Possession story, that took place, that is basically about the family, the DeFeos. I play the daughter, and I was 20 years old when I did the role of the daughter, and now today I play the mother in the same story. So you see how the reactions are different, the perspective is different, and I think that's going to be very exciting for people to watch it. So there's an extra special added thing, which honestly I don't think any actress has ever done, played the daughter and the mother in the same story.
Yeah, that is awesome. Again, The Amityville Murders is out now, and is that kind of why you wanted to come back to the series? I mean, just not only the history you've had with it, but kind of that unique opportunity to be the daughter and then the mother role?
Well, what happened was I originally started to act because my daughter is a filmmaker. Her name is Olivia De Laurentiis. If you go on YouTube, you can find her. And she actually does dark comedies herself, and she's going to do a film this year, which I'm going to be in, which is very exciting. But as I started working with doing hers, and I did a lot of comedy, and I thought, I'd love to get my hands on something juicy and a nice dramatic part. But I took off to be with my kids. I've been acting in the 80s, took time off to raise my kids, and they just started getting old enough so that I could act again. And then it was just a complete accident through a different bunch of stories, which you could probably find out through other articles, that I got this role. And I just burst into tears when they offered me the role of Louise DeFeo, because I've always wanted to play someone who's real, and this was a juicy, dramatic part, and I knew that I was in my life, in my career, my experiences, my training, all came into a full circle. This, to me, is the best acting I've done in my entire life in this film. So that's another reason that it's special.
Awesome, yeah, and you mentioned the earlier ones, a little more sensational maybe, but I was a big fan of part 2 and your work with Burt Young. I think you guys were great.
Oh, thank you, and it's so exciting because there's another thing. Burt is back in this one, the Amityville Murders, and we have a lovely scene together, and I'm so grateful that he was in the film. He is a sweetheart. I love him, and I'm so glad to have him back in the film. And I think it's a great nod to the audience to have him back.
Definitely. Again, the Amityville Murders available now. And Diane, I know you mentioned you took a bit of a break. I wanted to ask you, we've heard rumors maybe Bill and Ted Part 3 might be in the works. Could we see you maybe pop up in that one if it happens?
Ooh, well, there's a possibility for sure. I do know that the princesses are written into the script, but you never know. And I'll tell you something, if it does happen, it'll be an amazing surprise for the audience. I think it'll be really cool. So, knock on wood, keep your fingers crossed for me. We'll see. But I'm hoping, yes. And they're definitely doing it this year, for sure.
Yeah, that is great news. I know we had Alex Winter on the show probably more than 10 years ago now, and he was already talking about it then, so it's a long time coming.
Wow. Oh, great, good. Well, I'm sure we'll all be excellent to each other and if we wind up doing it.
Well, Diane, you've been in so many other great cult classics, over the years. I loved you in TerrorVision and Better Off Dead. And, I know you took a long break from acting. Now that you're back, are you kind of finding yourself just falling into it, like maybe riding a bicycle?
I have to say, you know what? It is, it's just exciting. It is more challenging, I think, to a certain extent, because the roles are more challenging. As you become an adult, you're more complicated. But I am ready to go. I am very excited, and we'll see if this leads to other things. I enjoy acting. I teach acting. I'm very much about bringing positive energy to people, and I just think that this film hopefully people will want to see me more. But I had a great time doing it, and I love acting. It's just wonderful. I'm pleased.
Well, and as you mentioned, your kid's really making some moves in the entertainment world as well, so that's great.
Yeah, my daughter Olivia is she is in a comedy duo called Barely Legal Comedy on YouTube, and you better put the word comedy in it because I'm not going to be responsible if you don't. And it's on YouTube, and so she's actually just got a deal with Snapchat, and there's another person who's I think Comedy Central is interested in some things, so it's exciting because she's doing that. Plus, she wrote, directed, and is acting in this film. So we're going to be acting together in this film. And the princess from Bill and Ted, the other one who did it with me, Kimberly Cates, she is now a producer, not an actress anymore, and she is producing the film. So it's very exciting for me to have my old princess sister, working with my daughter. It's very exciting.
Yeah, back then, you mentioned kind of having more, I don't know if substantial roles is the right word, but back then you played, princesses, kind of love interests, and now you can maybe go for more the dramatic flair, so you're kind of hitting all cylinders.
Exactly, and, and as an actress, I think it's a great role modeling, for other actors to see, oh my gosh, you can start your career very young, or you can have your career, as you get older. I mean, that's one of the things that attracted me to acting, was the ability that you could do it your whole life. You do it when you're a grandmother, and I love that. I just love that that ability of that career. It's very exciting.
Well, again, the Amityville Murders out now, and you mentioned the other film coming up with your daughter. Is there anything else maybe we should look out for, or something else coming up?
Well, there's two things just to let you know. I do have a film right now. It's called Wally Got Wasted, and if you go to Amazon Prime and you get the app, you have to get the app. You can rent that now, and I have a cameo in that, and it's a very funny movie, sort of like The Hangover meets Weekend at Bernie's. And then the other film I did is a thriller, and it's called The Final Interview, and that is going around the country this year to film festivals. So keep your eye out. If you hear The Final Interview, it's sort of shot like a art film, but it is a great film, very exciting. As thriller, it's about a serial killer who is on death row, and I play this news director, and my ex-husband is sort of the Walter Cronkite and interviewing him. And you find out in the story, like, it's sort of an alpha male story, but who is the bad guy. So very exciting Final Interview, Wally Got Wasted, and, of course, definitely see the Amityville Murders.
Excellent. Again, Diane, I'm a huge fan and looking forward to the Amityville Murders and everything else you got coming up. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Merci buckets.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.